your line. Still there. Clear right. You're in the middle, 3 wide, clear right. Left side. Hold your line. Still there. Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right.
Go.
Right side. Hold your line. Still there.
Alright, so I am proper excited for what's in this box. And I'll open it in a second. We'll do a bit of an unboxing and test it out. Now, it may turn out to be complete rubbish and it might not be good for me, for my setup and all of this stuff. But ultimately, this is a product that it's not extremely popular right now, so some of you might not have heard of it. It is a POV camera. It's kind of like a driver's eye camera. And before I unbox this, just a quick note on why exactly did I bought this, because some of you might be like, well, Beer, from my knowledge, you have a GoPro Hero 9, which is a high-end camera and such. Why just not use that as the POV? Well, I can very well do that. However, it is more from a comfort perspective and changing slightly the dynamic of how I create content. Because let's face it, having a GoPro attached to a hard hat in front of you, in front of your eyes, is not the most comfortable one. So if I would do POVs like that, first of all, I would have cables all around and all of that stuff if I want to stream directly. It is, one, uncomfortable, and it would mean that I would only do POV videos for cinematic effect, kind of like just publishing once in a while a POV video with the race that it's all set up, probably nothing live, nothing online, because of the lack of comfort and the positioning and all of that stuff. So I would only probably do AI POV videos and such. And you might be asking, well, why not use one of those headbands, head straps, instead of the hard hat? Well, that's because I don't like the angle. I don't like the tilted down higher POV. So I do have a head strap, but I'm not using it because I don't like the position. So this comes in to solve some of those problems comfort wise, and the whole, me being able to film and record some POVs even when I'm online with racers and such, because this is made for track usage. So without further ado, let me not stop blabbering about. Let's open this up and see. Now, hopefully is what I've ordered and it's not something else and I'm doing an unboxing for nothing. So this is, and I'll reveal in a second what the product is called, but it should be, and you might have seen it, one specific streamer, sim racer, you might have heard of it, Jimmy Broadband. He got a helmet for his Praga racing, probably with one of these cameras. This is a Cambox camera. Again, as I mentioned, some of you might not have heard of it because they're a French company. They're just recently started picking up pace a bit in the motorsports industry. This is a pack. It's a kind of like everything pack bundle. It comes with a cool hat. So this is the hat. Cambox. The company is called Cambox Mecca. Pretty cool hat. I might also just wear this one and attach the camera here. But before we do any of that, let's just see what's in the pack. We have a case, probably yeah, there's a case for it, so you can pack it and travel with it. We have a micro USB with an adapter. I have quite a few of these. This is a 64 gigabyte. Then we have the invoice and all of this stuff. Put that aside. Okay, so we have the Cambox here. I don't know what's the purpose of this paper wrap. Before we open it, let's see what else is in the box. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. There's also a charger. I'll see how much this lasts. It's quite tiny charger, so I might just, rather than using this, I might just use something else. I'll see. You can also use it while charging, so you can plug it in a socket and use it like that. The actual camera. So this is a Cambox Mecha version 4 Pro. So it's the top of the range, to put it like that. Has a proprietary quad-core Cambox processor, a Sony sensor for the camera, stereo sound, Wi-Fi for connection to the mobile app, because it also comes with a neat mobile app, and we'll look at that in a second. Now this Pro version is supposed to be able to film in 4K at 60 FPS, and that's one of the things that really attracted me to this camera. Now, worth mentioning, probably the sensor will be a lot smaller than what you get on this GoPro Hero 9, so I'm not expecting this to blow me out of the water in terms of quality, brightness, like ISO, all of this stuff, how grainy it is in dark places and all of that stuff. So I'm not, it's not a big challenge for me, because I do have a very well lit cabin. So you know, if the camera is breaking down in dark dark areas, then you know it's not a big deal. Plus, I don't know that yet. It might just do just well. Okay, so here's the information. So the V4 can film 1080 30 FPS, 4K 30 FPS, 4K 60 FPS. It has stabilization. It has ultra stabilization. I don't know what that is, and a 150 degree wide angle. Now, I was looking at some videos online with this in cars, in race cars, GTs and all of this stuff, and it does seem a bit shaky. Now, bear in mind also, my rig is not as shaky as you get to with cars when you're actually in a race car on track and such. So even with that, it didn't felt like it was extremely shaky, but at times it did seem, yeah. But again, my rig is a completely different story, so I'm hopeful that this will withstand my rig setup. Okay, so we're opening up the box. Has a really nice package. I think they also changed the package a bit, improved, because previously it was lacking, I would say, a bit, at least from what I saw from videos. It was a bit of a cheap packaging, but this is nice. It has a history begins text there. The camera is attached here, and we'll open this in a bit. Let me just open the other boxes, because it seems like there are some other boxes in here, and I like the packaging. The packaging feels quite premium. Now also, I got this at a 30% discount on their website, so they had this limited thing with 30% discount. So I got that for 30% discount, and I paid 300 something pounds. So it's not cheap at all. Yeah, so it's not like, so yeah, so I paid, how much did I pay? £367, so almost £400. It's not a cheap product, but fundamentally it has a certain kind of like high-end specs with 4K filming and 60 FPS and all. And we have a couple of stickers. I like their logo, it's pretty cool. And then what I suppose is the application, the QR to download the mobile app. Then we have another box in here, which looks like the pin thing is poking out of the box. So I wasn't packed properly there. So let's see what's in this box. Oh yeah, okay. So I guess this is the charging cable. Man, I have so many USB-C cables. This is the charging cable. I don't know why they sent a white cable when the camera is black. Okay, and then on the, I'm holding on to this a bit. Let me just put the camera here. And then there's a nice imagery on the bottom just saying be yourself, and various sports, as you can see. Cool, yeah, pretty decent packaging. And then we also have extra straps. So what these are supposed to do, let me not lose this stuff here. So this is so that you stick the sticky bit onto a hard hat or whatever other type of hat you might have. Yeah, so this sticky bit glues on the hard hat. So it's probably something like this. Yeah, so it sticks here. Velcro zip the camera on top, because I suppose the camera has Velcro, the fluffy Velcro part, because this is the rough part, probably has the fluffy part on the hat. So yeah, let's have a look at that. I'm gonna take the camera out of the box. Let's see if there's anything else in this box. Oh yeah, cool. Oh wow, nice. So in this other box where the camera was held, now my whole table is full of stuff. You get another Velcro, so you have in total 3 with this bundle that I got from their website. Now again, the price was for the whole bundle, $360, $465. In total, I got 3 Velcro straps. I got this wipe thingy and a nice carry bag for it. So you can place it in this nice carry bag and in the hard bag if you need to, which you probably should use both of them basically. Okay, and here is the camera. So that's how it looks. It seems like these sides are quite flexible, so you have a bit of movement there depending on what type of hat you plan to assemble it to Velcro it to. So if you have something that is, let's say, straight, then you keep it straight. If it's kind of like bent inwards, then you have a bit of a wiggle room there. It's not very much, but it is a bit. And then in this other direction as well, you can move it a bit. And then the camera module is over here, and even this moves up and down slightly. And yeah, and you have multiple options with the color of the front. I went for all black so that it's as incognito as possible. And then you have a couple of straps here. I don't know exactly what these are for, maybe to attach it to some other type of attachment. You also have in here what should be the charging point. Yeah, mini USB-C and the micro card. So you put the micro card in there and the mini USB. And actually you can also have it plugged in. If you have a longer race or anything like that, you can have it plugged in. Apparently they say that if you film in 4K at 30 FPS, you get around 40-45 minutes of juice with it as it is. But again, you can also just plug it and basically juice it all the time. The only thing is this dangly thing here, which I don't know how that's gonna work. Yeah, so that's the module there, and you can close it up. All right, and then you have a power button here on the bottom. You have some LED lights, which probably should signal you when you're recording, maybe when the battery is finishing, maybe when the SD card finishes. I don't know, I need to look at the instructions. And then you have another tiny button here, button for Wi-Fi, which looks like this is going to be for connecting it to the phone app. And that's the module. Pretty, it's also very light. As I mentioned, it has Velcro, the soft part of Velcro on top here, very light. And yeah, just basically once attached, it will sit something like this. That should be cool. It doesn't bother you, it's light again. And yeah, so probably what I'm gonna do is attach it to this hard hat like that. Yeah, and tilt this downwards a bit, and then I can just film exactly like this without any issues whatsoever. And then hopefully that will give me some really sweet POVs in any circumstances, whether I'm doing a live stream, whether I just want to go for a ride, rather than thinking whether I should do a POV and bother with all of the setup. I'll just put on the hat, start recording, and that's it. And the neat thing about the application as always that it has a you can view, you can check out, you can see what the camera sees, and also adjust exposure, brightness, ISO, colors, I think. So it has a lot of options. So we'll look at the app as well, but it seems like it has a lot of options from what I've seen screenshots in the pictures, which is super nice because it means I can adjust stuff based on how my lighting in my cabin. And that is the cap for the module, and the camera module looks like that. Looking at it, is it smaller than? It does look almost the same size as the GoPro module, so maybe it's not that tinier than the GoPro module. It does seem it's very little difference in sizing. Yeah, there you go, and I was able to move it. Yeah, there you go. So now is, I think that's how much it moves down. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do next is, first of all, clean all of this table here. Once I do that, I will go through the process of attaching it to the hat. We're gonna download the app, install it, and just do a quick test here in this room just to see how things work. And after that, of course, we'll go upstairs and check it out in the simulator and see if we can get some pretty awesome shots. Again, the angle is 150 degrees, so we should have plenty real estate to catch all three screens and everything that's in the cabin and all of that stuff. All right, so we're back. I cleared the table and all of this stuff. So what I'm gonna do first is attach this to the hat, the Velcro. I think it has some cover here for the glue. Yes, it does. That seems like some very solid glue. Now, the only concern that I have with this being attached with glue is that it gets very hot in my cabin. So glue usually doesn't last. Adhesive doesn't usually last, but I'm thinking maybe, you know, they're made for sports. I've seen GT drivers using it as driver's eye cameras and all of that stuff. So I'm hoping that this is an extremely strong adhesive. Okay, so let me make sure that I don't do anything stupid and I attach this properly here. I was trying to follow the material there, but that's not the best idea. Okay, I'm not very, hopefully this gets stuck really well, because initial impression was this was really easy to peel off. But now the good news is that the camera is quite light, so I'm expecting it to stay there, hopefully. I've never had the camera velcroed to anything, so it's a bit odd. Okay, so now I'm attaching the camera on the bottom. Sorry, the angle is a bit crappy, but I need to make sure that I'm attaching everything well here. Okay, so that went in quite well. It looks like it, but also I can move the hat a bit to the left and to the right. The hat doesn't need to stay straight 100% if it's not straight, right? It seems straight. I am a tiny bit skeptical because I've never had anything velcroed, like a camera velcroed to anything. Okay, but it looks solid. Okay, so should we try to turn it on? I've downloaded the app. The app, as soon as you open it, it looks for the module. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap on this, okay, which I assume that enables Wi-Fi mode. So the camera is getting searched for right now. Press the Wi-Fi button on your Cambox, check that the orange LED lights are flashed, then connect your smartphone to the Wi-Fi. Alright, sorry, okay, so I need to connect to that specific Wi-Fi. Interesting, what's the password? I probably should have read the instructions before doing this. Okay, so this doesn't tell me anything, so I guess I need to go online and try to figure out what the password is, which is a bit annoying, I would say. They should make it very obvious. But I had to go to the support page, and then I needed to go to the support and then download the PDF instructions for the camera. Default password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, that's cool, that's connected. So now I should go in here and retry. Yeah, it says I'm paired. Let's go. Should we turn on the preview? The module just vibrated when I've hit preview. And let's see what the camera sees right now. There you go. You get a bit of a preview there. There you go, that's the room. It does seem to have like a significant lag. I suppose that's not why you're using this. You're using this to adjust. So you're using this to adjust the, for example, this right here is too hot. So we'll put it in the cold or auto, right? And that should adjust the temperature. So that's on auto now, which looks a bit more realistic. Put down the exposure. So that brightens up things. So I presume increasing it. ISO, you can move the ISO as well, however high you want, up to auto. So let's leave it for now for auto. All of these options I will be able to update properly when I'm in the rig with all of the lighting and the game running and all the stuff. Saturation value, so I guess you can make it so that's like black and white versus something more intense. Okay, and then you also have contrast, sharpness, edge value. I don't know what edge value is. Let's put it down. It might give this more HDR, sharp edges approach view. Yeah, anyways, you probably can't see much from that, but trust me, it is very customizable, which is pretty cool. I'll leave it back to 12 how it was originally. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is put the hat on and see how things are, how comfortable are. Yeah, so that's the hat. I do get a bit of the hat in the view, which is interesting. So I might need to do something about that. But yeah, let me start recording. Resolution, let's crank the resolution up to video quality. There's a knob for video quality here. When I twist it up, it goes to frames 60, resolution the same, 4K 30. Okay, and the maximum is 4K 60, and audio on, stabilization on, auto white balance on, and exposure 8. Okay, so I'm gonna start recording. Okay, it had a bit of a vibration when started recording. All right, so I'm now recording. I think at least I think so. I can see that all of the settings are grayed out. It is currently charging as well, so it's plugged in, which is super cool. And it seems like it saved my previous settings, so that's cool. It means I don't need to always go into the app and do changes every single time I want to wear it to record. I just put on the hat, hit record, and that's it. And then we have settings here. I can go in standard. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know where the camera is filming. You have HD, 720, Full HD, Ultra 4K, and then you can see we're at Ultra 4K, and we have 60 FPS. White balance is on auto, exposure, active EAS mode, electronic image stabilization, which hopefully should be a bit visible. Activate the microphone. Microphones are on, so you can probably hear me. Mirror function, flip the image vertically, which is interesting. So, like for example, if you decide to mount it on top of your hat or somewhere that sits the other way around, you can mirror the image, which is pretty cool. And so you can invert the image both vertically and horizontally, which is pretty cool. And then you have Pro mode, which goes into ISO, saturation, all of this stuff. Ergonomics, you have auto record, automatically start recording when the Cambox starts up. In day night, this function allows you to switch to night mode to reduce the power of the LEDs, and then intensity of the LEDs, which you can control. Yeah, and then admin, which I suppose, yeah, there you go. You can change the password of the Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi name, and all of this other stuff. Updates. You can format the SD card, which again I found it very useful. I have the same thing with the camera DJI Osmo Pocket, where in the camera you can actually format the card. So I love that because very often I just dump the stuff. I don't delete what's on the card and put the card back in. So being able to format from here is great. And I can also turn off the camera, and I can see the battery life, which is not very useful. It says 4000 MV, which I would prefer it to show me percentage, but that's fine. All right, so that is the app. Next step, let's go upstairs and see how let's see how it works. Let's see it in action while racing. All right, so we're now set up in the cabin. I just slightly adjusted the camera options for the lighting, exposure, ISO, and all of this stuff. I probably still need to do a bunch of stuff with the lighting because I feel the cabin is a bit too dark compared to the sky. The sky is a bit blown to what I'm seeing on the screen and such. So yeah, there are a few adjustments to be done. I know that this looks a bit bizarre. The other thing that I've noticed is I've changed to a flat hat, but it still shows slightly the the edge, and I actually had to move the camera forward a bit so it's not sitting quite aligned on the Velcro. So I had to move it forward a bit so that it displays properly, like it doesn't take the hat that much. So I need to figure out a better way to mount it, because you can clearly see the hat top in the view.
Clear all round. On your right. Clear right.
Great start, well done.
Alright, so here's my final thoughts on the Cambox V4 Pro. You've probably seen on the beginning of the video that I put some comparison with the GoPro. I kind of wanted to take the GoPro, given that I've used it for a while now, I wanted to take it as a point of reference. You have in the background two screenshots. One is from this one here is from the GoPro, and this one is from the Cambox. I'm gonna keep it in the background while I talk about my final thoughts on it, just so that it is there and you can see while I talk about it, although it's in the background a bit, you might not see it properly. Alright, so my final thoughts on this. I'm gonna put it in a form of pros and cons for the Cambox. In terms of first Pro, probably very obvious, is very compact and light. It weighs almost nothing, which is incredible given that it does have a battery in it, and it does last for a while. So it was a surprise to me on how light it is, and it just goes in the background. Once you start using it as POV and you're in the race, it just goes in the background, and you can see that from the movements that I do in these videos. So I do a lot more natural movements with my head compared to the GoPro, bulky GoPro being obfuscating my view and being also heavier. It feels a bit more robotic, my turns of head with the GoPro versus this, which is it just goes in the background. It doesn't exist to me while I race. So I can focus on the race and not worry about the GoPro being on my head and moving my head in a weird way. That's number one. It's just light of and natural movement of head when you have it. Sure, you can have the GoPro on top here pointing down, but that just gives you a kind of like a God mode view rather than a first person perspective, if you know what I mean. It also has 150 degrees FOV, and I feel that it's less distorted. I'm not sure if that's true or not. You can also look at the video, but so this is the GoPro and this is you can see that. And if I switch between them, if I switch to the GoPro full, so you see where the edge of the window of the windscreen is here. It's the same, similar to the Cambox. And the same with there is a bit more view here on this other side with the mirror showing a bit more than here. Here it feels a bit more cut, the mirror. So FOV versus this is the wide view in the GoPro. I think the wide view in the GoPro has 155 degrees, while this has 150. So it's it's a great FOV. It gets you everything that you need in the view. It's also very easy. I mentioned this is very easy to update the app values and to see what the camera sees. That is super awesome. I really enjoy that. You can change the exposure. It has a tiny bit less features than the GoPro in terms of the picture quality and such, but you can change the exposure and the brightness and the warmth and all of this stuff, and you can clearly see I've not done a good enough job yet. I probably need to adjust the lighting and such, but the options are there, and you can fine tune and the camera the way you want. Also, I talked to their support, and it seems like they will have streaming capability. The camera will soon have streaming capability so that you can stream the signal, the video signal from the camera to your OBS and such, which is awesome because it means I can also stream with the camera. I'm still going to stream with this GoPro, but it will be awesome to also have like POV and stream that without all the wires and such. Although I'm a bit skeptic about the Wi-Fi video over Wi-Fi signal. I'm not sure technology is there to be as seamless as a cable connected HDMI. Definitely not the same as an HDMI connection to a camera. Also, the LEDs work really well. They're over here on the back, so you see them quite nicely. So when you're recording, it's blinking green, a button here. You can also see the battery blinker. You know when you're filming and such, which is a lot better than the GoPro where you put it on your head and you, as you see it in the pictures, it's tilted like that and you have no idea what the camera is doing. So that's a big benefit. At least you rest assured that the camera is still recording and it hasn't stopped, especially when you're in a race and you have headphones and you can't hear the camera making noises that it stops or the battery is running out or anything like that. The stabilization level works as well. It's not as good as the GoPro by any means. GoPro has the hyper smooth and all of this stuff with various levels, which works really well. But it does work. At the end of the day, you do want a bit of shakiness and a bit of movement. You don't want things extremely smooth. I was a bit concerned when I heard that it has stabilization, that I'm not going to be able to control that and it's just going to be super smooth out of the box. And when you're in a race and POV, you want some vibration and some movement to reflect speed and such, especially when you have a moving chair like mine and things like that. The microphone sounds also good. It's not studio quality, but it sounds good enough. It has, I believe it has 2 microphones or something like that, and they're quite close to your mouth, so it's almost like a lavalier mic where it sounds decent. It's not studio quality, but I think you can have a conversation and record, and your viewers will be okay with it because it's not bothering, it's not echoey, it's not anything like that. Wi-Fi connection is really good. So you have a button here. Unlike with the GoPro, man, the first time I tried to record the POV for this comparison, I got so annoyed because I was starting the app, I was starting the camera, I couldn't find on the phone the Wi-Fi connection, the network. It didn't appear. I had to restart it several times. It got super annoying, and it does that every single time. With this one, it has a button to start the Wi-Fi. As soon as you tap this button to start the Wi-Fi appears in the list. You click to connect to the Wi-Fi. You go to the app, hit connect there, and that's it. You're done. It's very fast and seamless, and that's one of the things that keeps me from using this camera. Is all these annoyances. Like I want to be able to hop on track, hop in my rig, and get everything going and start the race, and that's it. I don't want to get annoyed by a bazillion issues with the camera, with the angle and such. And that's the second point. Because this is fixed in a position on this hard hat, and because I know, I need to wear it close to my eyebrows like that, that's all I need. Just need to put the hat on, put it to the level that I need, and that's it. I can basically point and shoot. I don't even need to start the app and look at how things work. Because the video settings, the image settings are saved. So I'm starting with the same exposure, with the same brightness and such. I only need to put the hat on, turn it on, and start recording. And that is it. Comparison to GoPro, where because, as you see my setup here, because you have it set up like this, and I'm using the GoPro for other things as well, I'm moving it around left and right. I need to put it here and then adjust it and then put it on my head. And then I need to figure out if I'm tilting the camera enough. I can't see it in the display because it's on my forehead. So I need to start the app every single time I want to do a POV, I need to start the app and adjust the camera by looking at the preview on the app. And given what I just said about how annoying the connection to the GoPro is, that is a nightmare. That's another thing that keeps me from using POVs all the time. This, just, okay, I'm gonna go on a race, put the hat on, that's it. All right, now we get to some of the downsides of the Cambox. Now, I had a major freeze the other day when I was trying to record POV. I was trying to record at 4K 60 FPS. I've immediately contacted support. They were super fast in answering on chat and super fast in helping me out to unfreeze the camera. They did say there's an issue currently known that they're working, all of their engineers are currently working on fixing this freeze when you film in 4K 60 FPS. So hopefully that's going to be fixed soon. It doesn't also do well. When I bought it, I asked support, hey, can I plug it in and basically film while it's charging? And they said yes. However, it does seem to have some issues when the connection just stops and it restarts, and it erases some of the video in between. If you have it plugged in USB-C into power, if you're charging while you're filming, at least they say that it's because of the 60 FPS. If you go lower to 30 FPS, you should be fine. I've not tried that, but it does have issues. They did say that they're gonna fix that as well. So hopefully that's gonna be fixed as well, because I do want, well, you know, probably the battery will last 30 minutes or so, maybe less, for 4K 60 FPS, because they advertise 45 minutes for 4K 30 FPS. So then it's a lot less battery life for 60 FPS. So, and that, you know, if I have a 10 minutes, 20 minutes race, then that's fine. But if I'm, like, for example, this weekend we'll have a 1 hour race, it's gonna stop before the end. So yeah, that needs to be fixed. Now, as you will see, I have some blue tack under it, because like even on the flat hat here, I was still seeing the edge of the hat. So rather than cutting the hat off, I decided to put the blue tack to tilt the camera even more. And that's not just for not to see the hard hat, but also in the car POV, you want to film more of the wheel and less of the ceiling. So I had to adjust that. And you can see the POV is quite nice. It's exactly the same as I can adjust with but I had to put blue tack to just tilt the front of the camera more, because the 20 degrees that the camera itself tilts the module down is not enough. It feels like you're looking too straight. Well, when you're filming POV in a race car, you want more of the wheel, you want less of the ceiling, especially that I have some lamps and such, and I don't want to film the lamps and such. Okay, let me take this down because it's a bit dark. All right, what else? The other thing that I've noticed, and the reason why a hat like this with a brim is important, is I've seen light leaks quite a lot on the lens. I was outside and I was doing a walk at night, and there are bulb lights and such, and they kept on appearing. When I looked at the video, they kept reflecting on the lens. So it does very poorly. With the GoPro lens is encased, there's an encasing in it. With this one, is very exposed, so any harsh light streaks will appear on it. So having a hat with the brim like this, it helps diffuse that if you have lamps and lights in your rig. There also, the picture height is lower, and this is because of the lower FOV, so it's 150 degrees versus 155 on the GoPro. So the wheel is still a bit cut comparing to this, which you see a lot more of the wheel. So I would have to tilt even more to get more of the wheel, but I guess this is the right stuff. Now, it's also harder to fine-tune for low light versus the GoPro. As you saw in the comparison, the GoPro does really nice. The light was exactly the same in the cockpit for both of those videos, and the Cambox kind of like it kind of crumbles. There's some noise in it and such, so I would have to adjust a lot more the lights to be brighter and adjust, fine-tune the exposure and brightness of the camera module to get to that sweet spot. But it's harder in that sense, so I will have to see exactly how I need to set up that up. It's not a tragedy, it still looks pretty good, but it is there. So it is something that I'll need to adjust a bit more than the GoPro. The GoPro does better with that. And yeah, that's kind of it. Would I recommend it? 100%. I can't tell you how much I love just putting the hat on and just filming without having to worry about any of the cables, it's getting too hot. That's another thing, right? This camera gets quite hot when you're filming 4K as well as the GoPro, but at least with this one, it doesn't touches your forehead or your nose or anything like that, so you don't feel that heat that much, and it doesn't feel like it's getting as hot as the GoPro does. And yeah, I love it. I'm gonna use it as much as I can on these shots. Hopefully they fix the 4K so I can use in 4K, because that's what I bought it, 4K 60 FPS. Hopefully they also fix the being able to charge and film in the same time. And at one point I'll be able to also test the streaming module. This is a game changer to me. It's gonna completely change how racing POVs are filmed. I've seen quite a lot of racers already using this, but I think for sim racing, I'm very excited because I know that this camera will bring more people into this approach of filming POVs with their races, which is exciting for the community, because they don't have to have a clunky GoPro strapped to their heads. They just put a hat on and they're filming POV, which is a very appealing offer, to be honest. So yeah, 100% recommended. Which one is better in terms of picture quality and crispness and all of that stuff? 100% GoPro, right? Which one is better for versatility? 100% the GoPro, because you can take it, you can have it on your head, you can mount it somewhere as a webcam. It already has webcam functionality. You can take it on a hike. You can do vlogging with it and such. So if you're looking for versatility, the GoPro is the camera for you. The Cambox cannot offer you that. Is not a handheld camera. It's meant to sit on your hat and film POVs. That's what it does great. But if you want something just for POVs and put the hat on, forget about the camera, go and have fun on races and not have to get frustrated about, oh my god, how am I going to film? Is it going to crash? Then that is the camera for you, the Cambox V4 Pro. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Clear all round. Car right. right.